You write in Manufacturing Consent that it's the primary function of the mass media in the United States to mobilize public support for the special interests that dominate the government and the private sector. What are those interests?
Well, if you want to understand the way any society works, ours or any other, the first place to look is who's in a position to make the decisions that determine the way the society functions. Societies differ, but in ours, the major decisions over what happens in the society, decisions over investment and production and distribution and so on, are in the hands of a relatively concentrated network of major corporations and conglomerates and investment firms and so on. They are also the ones who staff the major executive positions in the government, and they're the ones who own the media, and they're the ones who have to be in a position to make the decisions. They have an overwhelmingly dominant role in the way life happens, what's done in the society. Within the economic system, by law and in principle, they dominate. The control of our resources and the need to satisfy their interests imposes very sharp constraints on the political system and the ideological system.
When we're talking about manufacturing of consent, whose consent is being manufactured?
We can, to start with, there are two different groups. We can get into more detail, but at the first level of approximation, there's two targets for propaganda. One is what's sometimes called the political class. There's maybe 20% of the population which is relatively educated, more or less articulate. They play some kind of role in decision making. They're supposed to sort of participate in social life, either as managers or cultural managers, like, say, teachers, writers, and so on. They're supposed to.
All right, so Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Hashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and those that great millstone. Salutations to you brothers that's out there doing the work of truth and in sincerity. All right. So the 20% that he's mentioned is basically you have the pyramid scheme. You have how they establish the society. You got the poor people basically underneath everybody, the minorities and whatever you want to call them. But these are the leaders, pretty much the leaders, Salaki. These are the leaders of the world who pretty much influence everybody else, the 80% of the rest of the population. Now, this current generation, you have a lot of LGBT QAP members that's who are in higher up positions, who are managers, who influence people to, the status quo, basically who engineer public opinion. And he's going to get a little bit more into manufacturing consent, and it's pretty much going to lead to the RFID chip. OK, it's going to lead to the RFID chip. It's going to lead to a lot of people being tagged, because once again, the scripture that best fits this video that I'm showing you, brothers, is the second Ezra chapter 16, verses 68. Pretty much explaining, feeding these people being idle, things offered unto idols. I'll get the scripture, but I'm gonna play a little bit more of this so you can pretty much get the understanding. You can watch the whole video by yourself, but it's pretty intricate how the elites established their empire and how pretty much they're enslaving everybody. Manufacturing consent, forcing people to basically, overtly, forcing people to take that RFID chip, because it starts with the ideal first, then it becomes manifest, So, hey, that's what you're seeing right now, So you're gonna have leaders like people that's out there in the open, like LeBron James. That's why the scriptures talk about, those that are rich and poor, all of them going to have to take the chip. But I'm going to get into that scripture. I'm finish this real quick. Slakia.
To vote, they're supposed to play some role in the way economic and political and cultural life goes on. Now, their consent is crucial. It's one group that has to be deeply indoctrinated. Then there's maybe...
See, they're deeply indoctrinated, okay? Just like those, the LGBTQA, they're deeply indoctrinated, okay? They're the ones that, pretty much influence everybody with the social norms and, how society is supposed to be ran. Right now you have to accept this whole homosexuality, transgender movement because they have a lot of power. They have a lot of backing by corporations, private corporations, which we don't know, some we do know, like people like George Soros and all of that. But, I ain't trying to be too political or none of that shit. It's just, the point is the society is pretty much forcing you to, you basically going to be forced. The ideologies and the philosophy is going to be forced down your throats. And that's part of the image of the beast, which is going to lead to the mark of the beast. All right. So I'm going ahead.
80% of the population whose main function is to follow orders and not to think, and not to pay attention to anything. And they're the ones who usually pay the costs.
All right. Professor Chomsky, no. You outlined a model with filters that propaganda is sent through its way to the public. Can you briefly outline those?
It's basically an institutional analysis of the major media, what we call a propaganda model. We're talking primarily about the national media, those media that sort of set a general agenda that others more or less adhere to the extent that they even pay much attention to national or international affairs. Now, the elite media are the sort of the agenda-setting media. That means the New York Times, the Washington Post, the major television channels, and so on. They set the general framework. Local media more or less adapt to their structure.
World News.
And that's why you'll see them playing a clip of the RFID chip and people taking the RFID chip on the mainstream media is because those are the gatekeepers. Those are the ones that influence you to get along and go along. They intrigue you with this way of life and this, these falsalities like, being into fashion, being in, all these different realms, different worlds they got out here for you to delve into, and it's all part of the witchcraft, so. All right, Salaki, I'm gonna go ahead and get that scripture. And and Lord willing, you brothers and sisters be edified, hopefully this ain't over your head. But in 2 Ezra 16 and 68 says, for behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you. All right. And they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. All right. So that burning wrath of a great multitude is what? Those troops. OK, because they're gonna give FEMA the power to start detaining people. All right. In case of a national emergency, in cases of, a terrorist attack, whatever the case may be. And most of these things are going to be generated because they have to bring in their agenda. They have to bring in a chip because that's the finality of their social construct. All right. So it says, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle. Now look up that word feed you in Salaki. I'm gonna go ahead and get it real quick. All right, so the word feed, give food to, but the point I wanted to grab out of here was, let me see. It says provide food for, cater for, cook for. All right, let me see. It says supply a machine with material, power, or other things necessary for its operation. And it is spiritual. Supply a machine, okay? Because what we headed into is a transhumanism era where they want to fuse biology, your biology makeup, your being. They want to infuse it with or infuse the microchip and the technology with your body, okay? So the point I want to really grab out of here was let me see. So yeah, number 2. All right. The part where it says basically you've been fed. So you feeding like spoon feeding you this garbage, basically. All right. The ideology. All right. So as the scripture says, feed you being idle. All right. It says, and feed you being idle with things offered unto idols. All right. So it's like I'm kind of at work and I'm, watching. But it says idle of a person avoiding work, lazy, indolent, slothful, work shy, shiftless, inactive, sluggish. All right. And this is talking about who? Really, it's talking about the 2/3 of our people. Jake, starting with Jake, even you guys that call yourselves Israelites. So a lot of you being slothful about this work and not, being watchful, as the scriptures say, be circumspect. Because another scripture talking about the devil as a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour. Okay. And these are the times we live in. The scriptures also talk about perilous times. So those that are going to be fed being idle, those who are tuned into, the mass media and being influenced by this way of life, by these people that they're propagating, like LeBron James, all the sports figures, all the musician figures, they're going to help lead people into this, this way of life, this one world order. All right. So you're going to be slothful. You're going to be sluggish. You're going to be fed being sluggish with things offered unto idols. All right. And they that consent, and that's the RFID chip. OK, so they're going to take you and they're going to feed you that RFID chip. It says, and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden underfoot. All right. And that's what's going to happen to the masses of the people. You'll be trodden underfoot because you were the whole time we living here in America, the whole time we being oppressed, we're being exploited, and they're manufacturing your consent without you knowing it. All right, through the witchcraft media. Okay, and these are powers that who strategically thought out these things and enforcing them and secretly forcing them on you. Secretly forcing a snare and a trap on you. Okay. And the Bible speaks about the Illuminati, those that be the elitists, that's higher ups. All right. In society, that runs society. Okay. This is Psalm 64:2. It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. And that's what Esau is doing. They're shooting at us covertly, without us knowing, on a high demonic satanic level, without us knowing about it. OK, and they're shooting at what? At the perfect, so they can try to deceive the very elect, as the scripture said. It says they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privately. They say, who shall see them? All right. And that's their whole structure, this whole establishment that they created, the social norms, the social sets that they set up. These are things brought in privately. They're manufacturing your consent, pitting you against one another, selling your information to corporations. And corporations in turn are advertising to you, and really exploiting you on levels that you're not even aware of. OK, it says, but the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. All right. Hey, and the Lord talks about when he's in the fullness of his sufficiency. Thus will I bring thee down, and the Lord's going to bring them down when the time comes. All right. I think it's Job 5, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. This is Job 5:12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. Well, in this case, when you go to Revelations 13, which I suppose to God. All right. And I'm gonna end it on here. I'm gonna start at 15. Okay. When you read this, their enterprise is what? Bringing in that RFID chip, bringing in New World Order. So when they establish that, which they have to, because it's part of the prophecy, it's part of the major prophecies that's going to happen before the Lord comes. When they do that, that's when the Lord is going to bring them down. All right. It's going to put an end to their enterprise. Revelations 13:14. And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. Now that wound by a sword, the wound was placed on the Roman Empire. Okay. Okay, because the Most High brought down the Roman Empire. All right. And it says and did live because they pretty much brought the merits and the way of life of the Roman life back to life. They brought it back to life. All right. That's why when you look at all your monuments and how the justice, systems the court systems are built, they remind you of that Roman, they have that Roman manufacture infrastructure. Okay. All right. So it says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. All right. That the image of the beast should both speak. All right. And cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And the image is what? This way of life, the ideology, the philosophy. All right. And you see it every day. All right. You see it every day with all these sports figures, all these musicians. They're trying to lead you in a way of, the image of the beast. OK. And if you don't believe in it, they're going to kill you. And like I mentioned, that 20% of the higher ups, they're the ones that influence the empire, the society. OK. They're the ones that get you to, hold on to certain belief sets. They make it OK to follow certain trends. All right. So they make it OK to follow certain trends. All right. And the major trend, the marquee trend is that RFID chip. All right. Because they're going to make it so cool. They're going to make it so easy and available that people are just going to get it. And they're going to like it. They're going to love it. It's going to be so convenient, All right. So it says, and he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand and in their forehead or in their foreheads. All right. Because that's where they're going to place it. They're going to place the chip in certain areas in your body that the coils and the RFID chips or the chips can function on a regular basis. All right. And all they need to do is put it in the warmest spots in your body. OK. All right. It says, and he calls it all, both small and great. All right. Rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. All right. And that's everybody. That's from everybody from the poorest minority to the richest majority. All right. Black, brown, whatever you want to call us. Everybody, man. Verse 17, it says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. And that's how it's going to go. All right. Nobody is going to be able to sell or buy in this market without a UPC, without a universal product code. All right. And that's the barcode that's on every item that they sell in any store or in any store online, or your regular store that you go to, whether it be via Target, Walmart. All right. So you're not going to be able to live without this technology. And that's what they're pushing. OK, that's what they're pushing. And it's imperative to know your enemy. OK, it's imperative to know who your enemy is in their agenda. All right. And then you got guys like part of these other groups, these Israelite groups that don't care and don't care to mention these things. They're, to their congregation, and they're gonna end up getting their congregation killed, and the blood's gonna be on their hands, man. They're gonna get their congregation caught up in this, these perils to come, these dangerous times to come. All right, because that chip is gonna come in many forms, man. It's gonna come in the form of aid during a national emergency. They're gonna put money on the chip. They're gonna tell people, look, this is how it's secure, and nobody can steal it, you know. And they're gonna use it in times of it's gonna be convenient where you're gonna see commercial, and then your job is going look. This is and it's starting with was that Foxconn here in Wisconsin. They're doing that big, and they're building an 8-lane highway, and they're doing construction for this big old facility. This corporation Foxconn, and one of the main things about this, one of the main attractions is the RFID chip. Okay, so it's really going down, man. It's really going down. But you got these leaders out here, man. That's being their consent is being manufactured. All right, by the corporations. All right, they're being swindled. They're being exploited by their own people as well to take on this way of living. Because they're gonna make it convenient. They're gonna make it, intriguing to the eyes. All right. And with that, I want to give Lamentations 1:5. All right. And this is talking about Israel. Her adversaries are the chief. Her enemies prosper. Okay. So our enemies are at the very top. Okay. All right. And they want to enslave all of us and kill the undesirables. Okay. Because a lot of you Jakes ain't fit for the new world order. Okay. They want you as slaves, man. All right. It says, for the Lord has afflicted her for the multitude of her transgressions. Her children are gone into captivity before the enemy. Hey, and guess what? It's going to be like Masada again. The Roman Jewish wars. It's going to be like that all over again, man. All right. And with that, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushua, Ba'Hashem, Rakakodash, double honors to the apostles, and notice that great millstone. Salutations to you brothers that's out there doing the work of truth and in sincerity. Hopefully, this was edifying, hopefully, I hit the points. But with that, I'm going to say shalom.